That's how we grow. No matter what you're doing, you don't grow inside your comfort zone. It's only when you push those limits, get yourself out, and make yourself uncomfortable, tread that new territory, that you really learn and grow
Yes.
and develop.
I laugh because that's so true. You
You've
know,
had this experience very recently, haven't
very
you?
recently, yeah, it seems like it was just moments ago, but, in all seriousness, that's when skills start to develop also. If you
Mhm.
are aware of your environment, if you're sensitive to energies, if you know things that you don't feel you should, if you recognize situations you've never been in, you have to step out of what is considered the real world, okay? And if you don't ever do that, then you never grow to develop those particular skills either. And I think that if you have those skills, they are designed simply to help others through your protection as well, but you have them to help others. And
Mhm.
if you don't develop them, then you're really not doing your job with what they were physically designed, given to you for. I feel
Mhm.
that. And the technical side, that's just a thing. That's things don't always work the way you anticipate that they will, and that's the biggest learning curve I've had on that part of it. But
Oh yeah.
I think that what you're saying is fascinating and so true, such a reality. I want to share something with you from our chat room that
Hmm.
was just posted because I know this is a theory of yours.
Hmm.
And it's supported here by Shelley, who actually owns a haunted location. She is our Friday night host. She is a brilliant person and researcher in her own right. I know that you've heard
Hmm.
me talk about the Old Paulding Jail and my experiences
Oh
there.
yes.
Okay, this
That
is,
that's actually somewhere that's on my bucket list of places to check out. I just haven't had a chance to get up there and check it out yet.
well, I'm going in the spring. We need to coordinate that. But
Definitely.
Shelley actually says that she is finding that some of the old school thoughts don't fit. The storms, for example, are said by everyone activity amps up during them. She's finding she's finding this to not always be true, and as far as cold spots go, she is finding this is your part. She is
Mhm.
finding that energy is also leaving heat stamps. So
Mhm.
you feel that when you have a cold spot, it's when something has already departed as a rule. So do
Right.
you feel like when there are warm spots or heat spots and I have a thought after this that I want you to comment on too, that the heat
Mhm.
spots may be where the actual activity is occurring at that time. And when we were doing our investigation this weekend, I was filming um, an area, and it was so crazy because there was something else very active happening behind me. There was familial communication behind me. And then somebody was using Seek, looking in mirrors and picture frames and such. There was, it wasn't cold spots, they were hot spots.
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there filming that saying, this is not, this is not paranormal activity. This has to be where someone touched, these glass frames or these walls or something. And one of them raised its hand and waved at us. And I caught
Mhm.
that on my camera. And it's in my live feed on Facebook. But the live feed was so glitchy because of all this stuff that was happening around me. It's just insane. People thought that it had stopped and it paused a lot through that video. And I have not gone back to review it yet. But What do you think? I know that you think that when you find a cold spot, the spirit has already come and gone. What do you think about these hot
Right.
spots? Because in those mirrors were red and yellow. They weren't blue. And I looked over my shoulder at the people behind me. They were not doing anything that would indicate that it was somebody playing a prank.
Hmm. Well, I think that a lot of it, I believe that usually the heat dissipation is okay. When you get down to the laws of thermodynamics, at the very basic level, when energy is used, it creates one of two types of reactions, either an endothermic reaction or an exothermic reaction, meaning either the process causes the molecules to lose heat or to produce heat. Typically, when when you have a something that's based more on molecular friction, you have heat being produced, more of your intense um, types of energy transfers. And I believe that when that heat is burned up, as in an exothermic reaction, I think what happens is some type of manifestation or something, some interaction takes place. It actually uses the heat as the fuel and cools down quickly right afterward, and that's where a cold spot comes from. The hot spots, it's a little bit more tricky. That's something that I I'm fascinated by, because the hot spots are a lot more rare, but we do see them, and I think that what it is I think that you're going to find more of an intelligent reaction related to those hot spots, whereas the cool spots is probably going to tend to be more of like a place memory or more residual. Now, I'm not saying that's absolute by any means, but I think that most of the time, just from what we've seen and observed, uh, that seems to be that something about your intelligent entities tend to produce heat instead of dissipating it.
That's
Um,
interesting.
which what that kind of tells you is based on that observation, that tells you that a an apparition that you see or hear that is residual is composed of a different type of energy or fueled by a different type of energy than something that is intelligent. But think of this: what else produces heat? Electricity.
Right.
The the flow of electricity. Um, Specifically, the electrons moving through a conductor cause friction on the conductor itself, produces heat. Even if it's not detectable by touch, you can measure the temperature difference. Uh, and you can't help but wonder, is that an intelligent entity trying to manifest, trying to move something, trying to create some type of psychokinetic reaction that, and that conducting of that energy, producing that heat. That's, definitely there are so many more questions than answers there, but I think that that's the direction that we're going to end up going with it.
I do too. And it feels right, if that makes sense. I just find
Hmm.
in the instance of the old Paulding jail, that would
Hmm.
be intelligent activity based
Hmm.
on my experiences there because they interact, they're aware of the
Hmm.
situations around them, and they
Hmm.
communicate. So I am convinced that there is active, intelligent activity happening there. I
Hmm.
just find it fascinating when this stuff just shows up and like like Friday night, when there's everything happening, and then you have stuff happening behind us, but there's also people in glass who look like heat. They look like living people because they're heat waving at you. It was the darndest thing I've ever seen. It really blew my mind. But I know what I've experienced at Balding Jail. So, and I can't wait for you to experience that. We're going to take
And
our
that place.
Go ahead. What? And
Oh, I was just going to say it's on my bucket list for sure. I've always heard good things about it.
Well, you're going to love it. But we're going to take a 2-minute break right quick. And that way we'll wrap up this business and we will get everything grooving. Y'all come right back.
Listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Fate Magazine Radio. I am Kat Hobson, your host. I'm joined by my friend and colleague, Frank Lee, who is my very favorite person to explain scientific theories to me that I might be struggling with a little bit. I share some things with him too, so it's a good balance. Welcome back, Frank. Are you ready for this last few minutes? Because, oh my gosh, we're not even close to filling out the whole list of things we had to talk about.
Oh, wow. That just a few minutes? We haven't even got started.
I know, right? And that's even with all of the little hiccups here and there.
Right. So what we're going to need everybody to do is, here in a few minutes, we'll just go to break instead of ending the show. We'll take like a 5-minute break, go get some coffee, everything, and we'll just do a marathon show. We'll go till, I don't know, 5, 6 in the morning? That sound good?
We have done that.
Yes.
Not live on the air, but we have done that. We have done, did we do a 4-hour show one night? I know we did a 3-hour show. Did we actually make 4 hours one night? Yeah. I thought so.
We did. We did. That was just a few months ago.
It was. And it was astounding. And a lot of fun.
Yes.
For those that don't know us, we tend to share a lot of theories and debate a lot of theory as well. And I am a researcher, and I'm very dedicated with my research. However, I tend to